Hey guys, Rich here, Rich's Custom Marine and Auto. Today we're going to be working on this Polaris Magnum. I'm going to go over doing the oil change. You don't need to have it as torn apart as I do, because I'm doing some other things on it as well for the customer. All right, to start with, if you're not familiar, right down here is the oil dipstick for checking the level. I always like to loosen that, just lets the oil drain out a little bit faster. And then over on the left hand side, you don't need to take this floor pan piece out that kind of sits in like that. You will have to get to your oil filter, but again, if you just remove this side cover that goes right here, then you should have plenty of access. Now underneath here, we've got the drain bolt, which is that right there. It's a 9/16 or a 14 millimeter. I had already broken that loose prior. So we'll go ahead and let that drain, and I'll grab a tool so we can get that oil filter off. Okay, so to get the filter off, I do have a tool like this that goes on a 3/8 ratchet. If the filter is been put on there super tight or stuck. This one was actually installed properly. You should be able to just grab it with a rag and spin it free like that. Okay, so you always want to wipe the filter sealing surface, and what that does is ensures, you can see it now, but that ensures that the O-ring from the oil filter didn't get stuck on there, because sometimes that will happen. And if you don't catch that and you go and screw your new filter on there, it'll definitely leak. It'll leak a lot, and you'll lose a little bit of oil when you take that back off to pull the O-ring off. So I'm gonna grab the new filter, and I always put a little bit of oil in the filter. Those of you guys that have been following along, I don't get into the debate of pre-fill or don't pre-fill. Do you and I'll do me, but I always put a little bit of oil in the filter before I put it on there. And you always want to make sure to put just a dab of oil on the O-ring, so that when you thread that thing on there, it doesn't catch and pull it out of the groove in the filter. All right, so we're using the Polaris 2520799 oil filter. Now, I have put a little bit of oil inside there, so now just put some oil on this seal. One more wipe of the sealing surface, and we'll spin this thing on. People get really worried about an oil filter coming off, and I don't understand that. My experience on pretty much everything that takes an oil filter, they tend to get stuck more than they tend to just come loose. So why somebody puts a wrench on their oil filter to tighten it, I couldn't tell you. So at this point, we're ready to go wipe up underneath the drain plug. I'm going to go ahead and replace that crush seal. Doesn't look terrible, but I'm going to go ahead and replace it. So yeah, I'll wipe that mess up and get the drain plug in, and then we can dump our oil in there. Okay, so we're ready to put the oil in. This is what I picked up. This does not require wet clutch oil. So when you look up different places online and even Polaris itself, it calls for anything from 5W50, 1040, 540. So you kind of need to just match the oil to your climate. The 1040 will work fine for our climate here in the Northwest. Again, no need for wet clutch because, of course, this is a belt-driven unit, and the gearbox is its separate entity there. So, according to Polaris, use a quality 4-stroke engine oil. I wasn't actually able to find a specification. You know, like cars, it'll say use API SF 0W30 or whatever. It just says use PS 4-cycle oil. So it calls for just under 2 quarts. So I'm going to put 1 in and then just check it to make sure, and then I'll probably put another half in and start just going from there. If you haven't done this on your machine before, this is what the dipstick looks like. So of course this hashtag area here would be hashed area. Here would be where you want your oil level to be. Of course, when you are filling it after an oil change, you want it closer to the top. This area down here would be more acceptable if you're out camping and you don't have oil or something and it's in this area, it'd be okay, but fill it to the top when you're changing it. Also, I don't have a part number. I'll try and look it up and see if I can put it in the description for the crush seal on the oil drain plug. I bought a kit that has all different sizes. It works for basically everything. So I just grab one out of there. But again, I'll try and look up the part number, or at least give you the size so you can grab one before you change your oil on your Magnum. All right, guys, so last thing you'll want to do is make sure you check that your oil filter isn't dripping, which I did that, and then double check your level after you run it for a couple minutes. Of course, let it sit so everything drains back down in the crankcase where it's supposed to be, and then check your level, top it off like we talked about to that top mark, and you'll be all set with your machine. So thanks for following along, guys. Please like and subscribe, share, and help us grow. And we appreciate you guys, and we'll see you in the next one.